The snow fell in thick curtains across the mountain plateau, muffling the world in white silence. Kevin stood at the window of his isolated medical station, watching the last light of the old year fade behind distant peaks. 30 years he'd served in the Galactic Medical Corps during the Zarathian Wars. 30 years of patching up soldiers from 100 different species, watching friends die, saving those he could. Now, in his retirement, he wanted nothing more than silence. The station was small, just 3 rooms carved into the mountainside of Refuge 7, a backwater colony world where the war had never reached. Perfect for a human who'd seen too much blood, heard too many screams. Here, Kevin tended to the occasional colonist, with a broken bone or fever. Simple, quiet, safe. He was pouring himself tea when the door shuddered with an impact that rattled the medical equipment on the shelves. Kevin's combat instincts flared. His hand moved toward the pulse weapon he still kept mounted by the entrance. Even here, even now. The knock came again, desperate, powerful, accompanied by a sound that made his blood run cold. A keening wail, high-pitched and weak. He grabbed a scanner and approached the door cautiously. The display showed the life forms outside, one large, one small. The smaller one's vital signs were failing. Kevin opened the door. The creature before him stood nearly 3 meters tall, covered in scales that shimmered between deep purple and midnight blue even in the dim light. 6 limbs, powerful wings folded against her back, a serpentine neck supporting a head crowned with horns. A draconian, one of the rarest species in known space, dwelling in the uncharted nebula regions. Her golden eyes, slit-pupilled and ancient, fixed on Kevin with an intensity that could have melted steel. In her primary arms, she cradled something small and trembling. "Please," she said in perfect galactic standard, though her voice carried harmonics no human throat could produce. "My hatchling. She burns with fever. I have traveled 6 systems to find you. Healer Kevin." Kevin's breath caught. "How do you know my name?" "The soldiers speak of you still. The human who would not let them die. The one who saved Commander Thraxus when all others said it was impossible." Her voice broke. "Please. Mia is all I have left." The hatchling Mia was roughly the size of a human 5-year-old, though Kevin knew draconian young were born with adult intelligence. Her scales, which should have gleamed like her mother's, were dull and gray. Her breathing came in shallow gasps, and even from the doorway, Kevin could feel the unnatural heat radiating from her small body. Every instinct screamed at him to turn them away. He'd left that life behind. He'd sworn never to stand over another dying patient, never to feel that crushing weight of responsibility again. But then Mia's eyes, opened brilliant silver, like starlight tan, looked directly at him. In that gaze, Kevin saw every soldier he'd saved, every patient who'd walked away from his operating table on legs that should have been lost, every person who'd gotten to see another sunrise because he hadn't given up. "Bring her inside," he said. Stepping back, the draconian mother, she said her name was Sarathia, had to fold herself almost in half to fit through the doorway. Kevin cleared his main examination table, reinforcing it with support struts from his equipment storage. Sarathia laid Mia down with a gentleness that seemed impossible for such powerful claws. Kevin's scanner worked frantically, but the readings made no sense. Draconian physiology was barely documented. Their species guarded their privacy fiercely. He was working blind. "What are her symptoms?" he asked, falling into the old patterns as naturally as breathing. 3 days ago, she began to burn. Her flame. Sarathia touched her own chest. "The inner fire that all our kind carry. It grows wild, consuming her from within. Our healers say she has the ash fever. 1 in 1,000 hatchlings. Most do not survive." Kevin's hands moved across the scanner controls. "There has to be a way to cool her core temperature without damaging." "No." Sarathia's voice was firm, but not unkind. "External cooling will not work. The fire must be redirected, channeled, but the procedure requires knowledge of our internal anatomy that no outsider possesses. I came to you because ... double quotes." She paused. "Because I heard you once performed surgery on Commander Thraxus, of Ordelian." Their anatomy was also impossible for humans to understand. Kevin remembered. A commander dying from internal hemorrhaging, his species' complex multi-chambered circulatory system shutting down. The other medics had refused to even try. Kevin had studied for 6 hours straight, then operated for 14 more. Thraxis had walked out of his medical bay 2 weeks later. "I'll need detailed scans," Kevin said. "Everything you can tell me about draconian physiology." And Sarathia, he looked at the mother directly. "I need you to trust me completely." The next 6 hours blurred together. Kevin worked with an intensity he thought he'd lost, his old skills returning like muscle memory. Mia's temperature climbed dangerously as he prepared. Sarathia provided information her species had kept secret for millennia, trusting this human stranger with knowledge that could make or break her people's security. The procedure itself was delicate beyond anything Kevin had attempted. Using tools designed for species with entirely different anatomies, he had to locate the nexus of Mia's inner fire specialized organ unique to draconians and create new pathways for the excess energy to flow. One wrong move could kill her instantly. His hands never shook. At R7, as the old year ticked toward the new, Mia's temperature finally began to drop. Her scales started to regain their luster. Her breathing deepened, steadied. At R8, she opened her silver eyes and whispered, "Thank you, healer." Kevin slumped against the wall, suddenly feeling every one of his 63 years. Sarathia transformed before his eyes, the desperate mother, becoming a being of terrible power and profound gratitude. "You have given me back my daughter," she said. "My people will remember this. You will always have the protection of the draconian clans." Kevin shook his head. I'm just a medic." "No," Mia said, her young voice surprisingly strong. "You are more. You are what humans call ... hope." Outside, the first light of the new year crept over the mountains. Kevin watched it come, Sarathia and Mia resting in his medical bay, and realized something profound. He hadn't been seeking silence, he'd been seeking purpose. And purpose, it seemed, would always find him. The galaxy was vast and strange and full of suffering, but it was also full of humans like Kevin, who would never stop trying to heal it, one patient at a time.